And thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folari. Okay, the International Youth Day has just come and gone, and Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, he made a number of points, but I think the key point that a lot of people took away was that the federal government now needs to, put greater investment in Nigerian youth, especially as they are in the majority when you look at it. Okay, we'll talk about that, and our guest is Dr. Joshua Oyeni. Dr. Joshua Oyeni, he's CEO of Amborian Consulting. He's also GSEA Global Awardee. That was in the US. GSEA, by the way, is
Global Student Entrepreneur Awards. Global
Student Entrepreneur Awards. And then, as if all of that wasn't enough, you're also the convener of the Ambassador
Summit.
The Ambassador Summit.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Dr. Oyeni.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure to have you. Thank God for you and the teeming youths, because as we are made to understand, that is the future of tomorrow, really. And maybe give me an assessment and how you came into this. An assessment of what you think where you think we are now, and what really brought you into it. Because I see doctor here. Is that a medical?
No, it's academic.
It's academic.
Yes.
So that's the your specialization?
Yes, public administration.
There you go.
Thank you.
So tell me about your journey in youth development issues.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you
Yori.
very much.
I watch the program from time to time. Amazing work you're doing. I'm grateful for having me.
Thank you.
It goes without saying that what Honorable Tajuddin Abbas put out, this week. Yesterday happened to be the International Youth Day, the international celebration of young people globally. There is a whole lot of conversation around why the young person should be prioritized in the preparation of nations for bigger prospects or bigger things or bigger accomplishments. My journey, I would call it, that of the regular young person on the streets, who is aspirational, who has high hopes, who is looking forward to doing well for themselves. My story is simple. My father was a taxi driver in Lagos. My mother was a petty trader. I was born in Ajegunle. And the least I probably, was looking forward to was maybe, the most rather, was maybe becoming maybe a trader or becoming a, as a matter of fact, Mr. Yori, somebody, when I had some challenges earlier on in my early life, somebody told me that I would like that you come, let me get you a bike, and then you can begin to do Okada work in Lagos.
So that was how many years ago?
This was about some 16 years ago, 16 or more. You begin to do Okada work in Agbado area of Lagos. And then I reached out to a friend of mine and said, this is what this investor says they want to do for me. Investment now. For that person, that's investment, right? So I'm saying this to say that when we talk about investment in young people, we should be very clear as to what investment means. For some persons, they feel maybe investment is, let's get some wheelbarrows for young people in certain parts of the country. Let them push the carts, in the local market. That's investment. For some persons, it's let's give them 20,000. Let them go buy some wares and and do business. But for me, and I want to believe that Honorable Abbas meant greater good when he used the word investment. Investment would be putting in tangible resources into the development of the mind for the young person. For me, the story is that I had a group of people who came to Nigeria. They were not Nigerians. They came to Nigeria 2015 and felt, can we give young people a chance to display what they are good at? I just started a business at the time, Amborian Media. And then these Americans came, and then they had a competition for us. I was at the University of Lagos. I competed, did my best, and they adjudged me the best. That was what took me to the US, and then I represented Nigeria, represented ECOWAS at the global finals in the United States. We have 40 finalists from around the world. I was also privileged to be the only finalist that appeared on the Voice of America TV to talk about what I was doing for my country. Yes, and it was an amazing opportunity to talk about Nigeria and the great things that this country, I believe greatly in Nigeria. I've been privileged to live in the US, but I tell you, there is no nation like this country. And so
that you'd rather be in.
Yes, I would rather be here and do great things than do it in a foreign land.
Wow, that's something of a story, and a very inspiring one. Now, what do you see the youth as their stance vis-a-vis what you have just told us? And I know that there will be quite a number of people that are on your wavelength, and so that makes the job, you don't have to start from ground zero. But do you have enough, in your opinion, youths who are thinking like this? Of course, at the end of the day, money is very, very important. But it does seem, it is thought, that too many youth are really concerned just about the money, but not about contributing to the whole mix. Money is one thing, but how do you get the money? Is it you're going to be begging for it? Is it going to be grand? Or are you looking for a way to be able to create wealth, create employment, and thereby, satisfy yourself as well? It is thought that our youths in these times are not of that nature anymore. But do you agree?
I would say that, I'll partially agree. And why is that? A lot revolves around, we already have a vibrant population of young people, over 120 million, in that demography, who are already geniuses at whether entrepreneurship, whether the creative art, whether in academics. We have guys who are blasting 5.0 CGPA after 4 or 5 years of coursework in university. We have amazing guys who are entrepreneurial. Look at the big startups we have today. Look at the, the unicorn companies that are coming up here and there. These are fronts that are led by young people. So we have young people who have the talent already, they have the abilities already, they have the capacity already, but just some form of empowerment here and there. Not necessarily throwing money at them, but creating a system that enables them to be able to get things done. Like, for example, I would say, the average young person doesn't necessarily need a lot of money thrown at him. Just make the enabling environment. Let him have constant power supply, for example. Let him have access to facility at, very competitive, very friendly rates. Let him have access to resources, raw materials, without having to circumvent corners or having to know somebody, on the higher powers. Those are the things that a young person is looking for. The average Nigerian youth doesn't need bread thrown at him. He just wants you to be able to believe in him enough to get something that he needs on merit. And if he gets that, there is so much he can do. We have guys on the streets, in Aba, been to various parts of this country, who are creative, who are coming up with inventions, but they're not getting the kind of support they need from the system.
But sorry, you just said something. Getting all the assistance they need on merit.
On merit, yes.
On merit.
Yes.
Because Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, he called for more access to quality and affordable education.
Mr. Yori, education for me is the primary, the basis. I was going to talk more on this. Thank God you brought it up. A nation that is not investing in education enough. I mean, the UNESCO percentage put it at 13% of the annual budget. For a country like Nigeria, we need way more than that. We need maybe around 20% of or 25% of the annual budget going into education. I listened to Dr. Sam Adeyemi talking a few weeks ago about, we had young people who are writing exams with no power supply, with candles in the middle of the night, and that was enough to bring, a complete lockdown of that system so that those issues are resolved from the grassroots. We can't have a nation that does not make the young people look forward to education as something. And then we have somebody, coming to make a mess of young people because he believes that, education is a scam. And so he got, his means and his resources without going through the academic route. Those are not the narratives we want our young people to see. We want a government that believes. I was shocked just a few days ago. I was watching a program, and then this woman said, during a previous administration, a previous administration, not any of the last two. A young man was sent to the US, courtesy of the government, to go and further his studies. These were first-class brains. And then he got there, started the program. For whatsoever reason, there was a change in administration, and they could not continue to get resources, to continue with the program. The young man dropped out of that college in the US and then went into doing Uber work. And in the course of doing Uber work, he picked somebody who, for whatever, he had an altercation, shot him, and then he landed in the hospital, had multiple surgeries, was basically a vegetable on wheelchair, and then they were moving him from place to place. Now, this was a young man who was a brilliant, shining star in this country, was sent there to go and become better as an academician, as an inventor, as an innovator, and then the system, there's no continuity to say, oh, we have brilliant chaps out there. Let's continue the program, irrespective of the change in administration. So those are the kind of investments beyond timelines that we advocate for. Investing in education in our people, both here locally and then internationally.
And I'm sure you therefore will be sort of impressed with the educational loan that President Tinubu sort of resuscitated.
Fantastic effort, I would say. It's the first time in many, many years, I would say maybe more than 2 decades, where we have a ray of hope beaming on the Nigerian youth. The loan facility for young people is fantastic. I would really encourage that the administration keeps it going, monitors it, and ensure that it's effectively disbursed. But that effort is brilliant. I would give it up to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing that, and then the Minister of Education and even our Minister of Youth, Honorable Olawande. He's been amazing. I was in the room with him at Radisson Blu a few months ago, where he came to address some delegates of the National Economy Summit Group, and we could see the energy of a young Minister of Youth advocating for further investment in education, and then even reeling out the achievements of the administration. Those are the things that we look forward to seeing more of.
Okay. I'll take a quick break now. Do please stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Governor of Enugu State, His Excellency Dr. Peter Ndubisimba, warmly invites Ndi Enugu and lovers of our dear state to the launch of the new Enugu State Transport Management System and the commissioning of the 5 brand new modern bus terminals built by his administration at Holy Ghost, Nsukka, Abakpa, and Garki. The Governor will also inaugurate 100 out of the 200 CNG buses acquired by the administration. These landmark events mark another giant leap in our journey towards sustainable, modern, and efficient transportation infrastructure and service delivery, making movement safer, faster, and more convenient for Ndi Enugu. Date, Thursday, August 14th, 2025. Venue, new transport terminals at Holy Ghost, Nsukka, Abakpa, and Garki. Time 11 a.m. Tomorrow is here. Announcer, Dr. Malaki Uchennabo, Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communication, Enugu State.
Okay, welcome back, and our guest is Dr. Joshua Oyeniyi. He's, he's a youth, but he's also a youth to be proud of. He's CEO of Amborion, consultant, and he's a global awardee all the way from the U.S. in, terms of his passion, his interest, which is development, especially from the youth. So in that sense, I feel that we're sort of lucky today to hear it from your point of view, because not all the youth, unfortunately, are making us proud. So when we do have some, and they are, dotted across the country, perhaps we don't even know. Perhaps it's even more than that. But you see, maybe not all of them come on out. So to that extent, I say kudos to you. The speaker, the Tajuddin Abbas, he's been urging youth to be patriotic, law-abiding citizens. That's sometimes youthful exuberance can, take you where you don't needs to be. How do you see this? Because I am sure that the Nigerian youth is entirely capable of achieving his own destiny once an enabling environment is, put in front of him. I remember, and you would have heard stories of it, the Awolowo era and his attitude, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, his attitude towards education. Today you have so many academics, so many professionals that come and testify that had it not been for that, where I had absolutely nowhere else to go but the route of education, I would not be the professor that I am today. I would not be the head of department that I am today. Would you like to see a return to those days?
Oh, my goodness. Those are the days they call the good old days.
The good old days.
We hope those days will become existent again in our own time. We hear those stories. We read those stories. But Mr. Oyera, I will tell you that the average Nigerian youth, irrespective of the narrative you have on the street and on social media, is patriotic to this country. Yes, and I stand for that class to defend and to advocate for young people. I'll give you a very short story. When I got my first US visa in 2015 and traveled to the US to represent at that event, at that contest, when I was going to come back, I had some people who said, "Oh, okay, we came here for education, right? Why are you going back to Nigeria? Why not just stay back? Why not just appropriate this country for your own good and all that?" And I told them, I said, no, Nigeria is where I'm going to be. I love this country. I love Nigeria, and I would go back. I'm not going to stay back. I'm not going to violate the visa rule. I will go back, even if there were other legitimate means of staying back. And I did come back, right? And I've been I've been privileged to visit that country a good number of times, right? But I would say that the average young person, I had a Nigerian friend, in the U.S., first-class brain from UNIBEN, traveled, over to the U.S. to study in Harvard, and then became an entrepreneur in that country. At the point, he had a real estate company that had over 17 apartments, that he was using for leases and rents and turning almost $1 million in revenue every year. So there are amazing guys who are doing this just because of the system. But like you said, right, the pursuit should be, how do we continue to encourage investment in education, in innovation, in the creative arts, in technology? Artificial intelligence is now, the in thing. I was watching a program, I think it was the country of Botswana, that has a very huge, gigantic investment in helping young people to navigate into artificial intelligence. We have a vibrant, tech community in Nigeria, tech, population. Investing in those things, which again the administration is making a lot of effort in. Honorable Boss Tunji of ICT, and all the other ministers putting in adequate, diligent effort into enabling the young people to be able to diversify into their craft. So those are the kind of things that, we believe in. But like you said, in finality, we look forward to those days where education is primarily the driving force of all of this innovation. Because an uneducated mind would not be able to explore the possibilities of the mind itself.
Indeed.
So creating, ability and opportunities for these young people to get into university. When you have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million people trying to write UTME, and then you only have maybe 300,000 opportunities for them in universities. What happens to the remaining 1 million? What happens to the remaining 1.5? How do you appropriate their talent, and make sure that they are able to contribute meaningfully with their God-given innate potential to the GDP of this nation? Because if you give those guys the abilities, you will be amazed how far Nigeria can go in 1 year.
I don't doubt it. Now, let me bring on the first caller this morning, Mr. Joshua in Irewolide. Good morning to you. Mr. Joshua, can you hear us? Good morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Good morning to you.
Okay.
And good morning to the doctor.
Okay.
I really appreciate him.
Yeah.
So much. I'm so glad this morning that he just decided to bring in somebody to refresh us. It's been quite negative for some time.
It's been a bit tough.
And, I'm happy that we have a youth,
Yes.
young person at heart.
A ray of sunshine.
So
Yes.
positively about Nigeria. 'Nigeria. 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 right? and keep doing, I'll keep making my contribution rather than go elsewhere to do it. This is absolutely significant. I wish that this sort of a voice, as it were, could be amplified. This, your platform, Uncle Yori, is awesome. And I'm thinking, what's the issue the nation that we tend to be more comfortable with the negatives, the negatives. Nigeria is a failed nation. Media houses that are, powerful media houses that are connecting to the voice of millions of youth, and they will just say carelessly, Nigeria is a failed nation. Nigeria is this country is. I'm like, oh, what is the issue with us? Uncle Yori, everything is politically analyzed.
Yeah.
To mean that Nigeria is not good. How is Nigeria not good? How? I'm about 60, and I've had my whole life in this nation, right? Even the civil war, as it were, that we survived, everything about Nigeria still talks about a nation that is growing, that has a trajectory of moving forward. Why don't we actually talk about those things much more than somebody? You know, and another thing about this is when Nigerians, I tend to ask myself, who are the we Nigerians that these people are talking about? Oh, Nigerians are hungry. Oh, Nigerians are this. Nigerians are that, right? My parents, right, through subsistence farming, we didn't depend on government. They taught me the dignity of labor to feed myself. I have never depended on any government to feed myself. Now we're talking to the youth as if go gambling, pursue pleasure. Somebody is there in Aso Rock to feed you. Your governor will feed you. That is the proper communication, right? So I will go into what you are doing and amplify it rather than politics tomorrow, politics the next. And they will come, Nigerians, these people, we are hungry. They are, high-profile politicians talking about we are hungry. Humiliating people, weaponizing hunger.
Okay. I want to thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Joshua. I really appreciate your calling in with those uplifting words because, as he said, it does get a bit bothersome. All you hear is negativity. Yes. And so that was like a ray of sunshine when you said that, you know what, I'd rather be here, and continue with my obvious success, and continue to work at it. You were speaking just before that call came in on, the way a Nigerian that over in the U.S., his entrepreneurial spirit. What do you think of the facilities available here for such a person? Because the U.S. seems to be a place, as far as we can see, that works on merit. So you come in, you've just described this Nigerian who hasn't lived there all his life, but he did come in with certain skills. Yes, and you told us results he was able to get up to around $1 million annually. Now, for the moment, not counting but the level to which the system accepted him. Do you think we have a similar reciprocal attitude locally?
So, to be very objective, I believe that the Nigerian system and the entire polity has so many beautiful opportunities and inherent, openings that have not just been adequately explored. And that's where a lot of orientation and enlightenment needs to happen. There are so many people who don't even understand that we have a bank of industry. There are so many young people who don't even understand.
Or don't even know what it is for.
Or what it is for, or even how to access these things. You know, so we just have those funds lying there and very few people coming in to take advantage of all of these opportunities. So the system has
it goes back to education that you were talking about.
Yes.
It is only an educated folk that will be aware that, you know, you're complaining, but you don't even know what's available, what you can sort of link into. So that's another point.
And I would, you know, want to use the opportunity to also challenge our young people, you know, who may be watching this, to say we need to play down on the distractions. Yeah, social media is good, it's beautiful, the TikTok, the Instagram, the Facebook, but how about taking some time to research what Nigeria has for you? What about the opportunities that are already, you know, playing out, and that if you are able to, you know, to log into just because they have the information. You know, if you're not informed, like they say, you are deformed. So how about informing yourself? How about going on Google and saying what opportunities are there for me in the ICT, you know, ministry?
Use AI in that regard.
In those things, you know, get all of those things together and then put in the application. Put in the application. I mean, you can never tell. You can never tell. The nation has so many of these, you know, amenities and opportunities. So I want to encourage them to just make sure they go in and they get these opportunities for themselves.
Okay, one moment, please. Mazi Okorafo, good morning to you in Arochukwu.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess. Well, first of all, let me congratulate Nigerian youth the world over, not only in Nigeria, but all over, all the youth. Now, the question we are talking about, if you look at what the speaker said, what we do as parents, what do we do as government, whether federal or state or local government or the community, about investment to our own youth? You see, as every child in this country, youth, they have talent, they have capacity, but when you check well now, you see that statistics have shown that 65 to 70% of Nigerian youth, they are not making use of their talent. Only 35 make use of their talent. What do we do as parents? Not to talk about the government, because to train any youth start with you. Now, as a father, it is not bad for you to encourage your child to know how to read and how to drive. But parents, instead of you to make the child follow sequence before you talk about driving a car, let him know how the car costs. You just pack by side, just finish your job, university, you just buy a car. Does it make sense? Now, what I will advise parents is this about Nigerian youth. Go to school and learn. Know how to read and write. 60% of Nigerians, when I saw on the screen, that Nigerian youth, grown up ones to adults, that's when I mean adults, start at the 20, they cannot read, they cannot even, it's only their local language. I was so pissed off. I said, what? In this present generation, let those people now go for what we call adult education and educate themselves and know how to read and write. Our parents should do the needful. Train their child. At least let that child, if it's on a diploma or HTL, let you have that skill. As a graduate from any school, either polytechnic or monotechnic or university, let that child have a skill. That skill will help that child. And let the youth stop allowing the elites to use them as political talks. After using you as political talks, they will dump you. You now turn to become one criminality, to enter one criminal activities. At the end of the day, go to the villages, Sayori. I will advise you that take your children to go to the villages and see. You see how many youth, boys and girls are pregnanted, so many young girls leaving them that they have those children that are pregnanted, they have delivered the children's child, the boy disappeared. Now you see them bringing all these vagabond children. That is why you have the criminality in terms of Nigeria about the youth is increasing. What do we do? Honestly, you see the sit down drinking all this all this drink people. Why? Religious leaders, what are they doing? Religious leaders, what are they preaching? Sit down, they're preaching prosperity. Let the child know that he or she must suffer. Jesus Christ suffered for 40 days and 40 nights. Okay. No human being on earth that will not suffer. When you want to be a president or governor or honorable member, you must suffer. Parents should stop projecting the children that you don't need to bother yourself. And the worst thing, look at big businesses. When the father died or the mother died, maybe a pyramid of industry, the business collapses because the child didn't know the background. The child didn't know how to just follow up business sequentially. That is the problem with that. Honestly speaking, parents should stop deceiving their children.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mazi Okora, for there. bringing in the role of parents.
Yes.
You know, this is also very important, but I don't know if a parent, as he was suggesting, can now begin to go to school. You know, it's possible. Anything is possible.
That is the role that some of us are beginning to feel. So 11 years ago, I told myself that courtesy of the opportunity and information I had access to say, let me see how I can contribute to the system. Let me see how I can support young. I mean, we're not born to to silver spoons or silver homes, but what we began to do was begin to go from community to community. I mean, I've been privileged to at least about 25 states of this country, going around secondary schools, universities, speaking. Yesterday I was still at a foremost college in Lagos, speaking to about 500 young people, telling them, you don't have to wait on the system as well. Start doing whatever you can do in your corner. As you begin to build capacity, you will begin to attract opportunities as well. So, that led me to begin to do what you mentioned earlier. I call it the Ambassador Summit, right? We began inspiring people, educating them, equipping them, and empowering them. Okay. I remember in 2017 or thereabouts, we had to partner with a foremost financial institution to sponsor undergraduates to university, to also open their eyes to other soft skills, from public speaking to digital literacy, to catering, culinary, and all the other amazing soft skills that they can grab.
And you found interested,
amazing.
Organizations.
The interest is, yes. Again, of course, you have to push before you can get some of the support. But we have a population that needs this, opportunity. So we began doing that, and it's 11 years. We're doing the Ambassador Summit, and this year again we are doing something. We're gathering about 3,000 people and it's all free. Wow. It's all free. We invited the Minister of Youth, Honorable Olawande, the Commissioner for Youth, and even the First Lady to come and see what we are doing, and then have these young people come to learn how to get empowered, have access to information, because information is very powerful. I mentioned something before. I went to a particular event in about a few years ago, and then when I got to that event, all I went there to do was open my eyes and ears to information. And then when I got there, what I did was I began to network, right? When our young people go to events or go to forums, they should intentionally network with the big goal in mind. I'm doing a business, it's a baking business, right? Can I go to an event where they have a successful caterer or where they have a successful chef that I can learn from, network, with, and build my craft gradually and successfully to become maybe a global household name. So when I went to that event, I met somebody, a young man too, like myself, a Nigerian, who opened my eyes to an opportunity that made me get my first grant, and eventually traveled to the US for the first time. So my challenge to young people is, don't just sit back. Yes, we are entrepreneurial, we are creative, we are hardworking, we are diligent, but let's not allow the system to dampen our morale or dampen our spirit. Let's keep going. Indeed. And eventually things will fall in place.
Indeed. Talking about bringing the youth, the mindset of the youth.
Absolutely.
That's the mindset.
Yes.
Okay, I'll take another break now. Do please stay with us. We'll be right back. Keep the calls coming in, please.
Information is power, information is security, information is knowledge. On Labor Lens, we believe that working people around the world have real questions of their own. They want to know how the world of work operates, what it means to the employer of labor, how policies affect workers in the workplace. On Labor Lens, I ensure we engage effectively the organized labor, organized private sector, and government to get out of them information workers are in need of. I am Sharon Ijason, asking questions that make you get sense of the workplace.
Okay, welcome back. We're still with Dr. Joshua Oyeni, and he's about youth development, and that's what we've been speaking about since we began the program. It's upon the occasion of the International Youth Day. Okay, how about the youth and politics? You find that we have a different kind of political population. You find that there are a lot of seniors in Nigerian politics, people that are in the... I hear that I have a call. Let me just take this. Good morning. Thank you for calling in. Can you hear me? Please go ahead now. If you can hear me, please go ahead. Go ahead now, please.
Okay, good morning, Uncle Yori.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to the dog.
Aha, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for calling in.
I want to say something, please. The same youth, I think we're not foreigners for crying out loud. The youth we're talking about of Nigeria. If you go around the globe, you will see that we might even rank one of the first 3 hardworking young people you can find at the surface of the planet. You see, the truth about it is that we've not been taking appropriate care of. And that is why you see an average young Nigerian youth always wants to go out of his way to even take care and take full responsibility in the family. Come out to blame us about those. We are making frantic efforts. I ran for House of Representatives under YPP, almost at the age of 10. I know what I faced as a young person. That is the side. But on the business side, we've been trying. You said these are our leaders that come to actually most times blame us, the young people, as we're not making frantic efforts. Some of them even open universities and send their children abroad. We even say, where are the children of these government presidents, senators? Because they say Nigeria is not comfortable for their children, they take them abroad. So if it was very good, why wouldn't they stay here and stay with us? You see, the truth about it is that whatever government is going to do to alleviate the suffering of Nigerian youth, please, they should go ahead and do it. But if it's making frantic efforts, the young people are doing. I feel at this moment of our lives, we should be encouraging the youth in Nigeria. Nobody should attack us in any reason. We are making honest efforts. I'm telling you, sir, we should appreciate that, because what we face in this country, so many youth outside this Nigeria cannot face it. They will not take it from the leadership of this country. They're making this whole place miserable for us. But in spite of that, we've been responsible, we've been reasonable, we've been doing our best. Nigerian youths are not lazy. We've been trying. But we're saying we will get to try it. In Nigeria, it's possible. God bless Nigerian youths.
Thank you very much for making that call. Thank you very much for calling in. So, well, unless you had any comments on that particular contribution, otherwise you were going to talk about the involvement of youth in politics and whether you are happy with the state of that particular area.
I think just to lend some more credence to what the gentleman said, like I did say earlier, young people in Nigeria are about the most diligent, most hardworking, most creative, most entrepreneurial anywhere in the world. I say that with my full chest, because I've seen young people from different parts of this country go build great things from nothing. So I give it. I'm part of the young people, and I would say that again, we are very creative. We are very hardworking. We just need a system to be a bit more, compassionate with us.
When you just said that, somebody, I think it was said in the past that Nigerian youths are lazy.
Yeah, I didn't want to say that. I was teaching towards that. I didn't want to say that,
and then you said that we are very hardworking.
We are diligent.
On the contrary,
people. Yes,
we have our challenges, but we are hardworking.
I'm telling you, that's why when you see a young Nigerian go out there, even the average age, you see them do amazing things.
That's right.
Because they're already built tough and strong. So kudos to all our Nigerian youth and the gentleman as well, just to say that I feel the pause with you, because I'm also in it with you.
Okay.
But then going into politics, like you said.
Yeah, but just before that, another caller has come in. That's the nature of the program. Good morning, Mr. George. Thank you for calling in.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Please,
Thank you for calling.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Uncle Yori, I agree with you guys as well.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, whoever lies can badmouth Nigeria. Let that such person show us another country you can call its own. There is no other country that you can call your own, except your own. So if you badmouth it, it does not stop the country from becoming what it will become. Uncle Yori, you mentioned something that caught my attention, that government should provide the enabling environment. That sums it all up. Education is the best you can give to the youth, and provide enabling environments for them to thrive when they leave school. That is just what they need. Now, education, the government is trying that. If I were Mr. President, all this money is being recovered from Luther. I heard a few days ago that the governor is being questioned to return 189 billion naira that he misspent. All such recoveries pump the money into the NAIR fund to give Nigerian youth university and tertiary education. And then make sure there is power. That is why I'm quarreling with the power manager or the person in charge of managing the power in Nigeria. Let there be power. You cannot expect a youth to be paying band A if he wants to run an enterprise.
Yeah.
If, for example, you want to set up a bargain shop, how are you going to pay 210 naira per unit?
Or a bakery, for instance, such as we've been talking about. Our guest said he's in that line of business.
So providing an enabling environment is what the government needs to concentrate on. Nigerians are not lazy. You can see the pride and making in different fields, including sports, even with the little support they are getting in enabling environment for sports. You see how they are excelling. They're not lazy people.
Indeed.
All we need is enabling environment. Let the government concentrate on that. And before you know it, we are already everywhere. Anyway, you can see what the young man is saying.
Yes.
It is very true. Uncle, are you aware that there is a Nigerian that has gone to States and come back?
Really?
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much. Okay. There are all sorts of private programs for that particular aspect. Yeah. It didn't have to be homegrown. That is, if Nigeria had sent that Nigerian to space. But I think some astronauts, if that is what they call them, they are able to actually pay their way.
Yes,
that's
it. Yeah.
So maybe he also get an assistance. Yes. Yeah. But you were speaking about, you were going to, talk about the involvement of Nigerian youths in politics, whether it's at a level that is satisfying to you, or would you say you should just keep away from politics, being what it is in Nigeria?
Not a chance. Not a chance, keep it from politics. I would say rather we are on that trajectory to getting good enough representation of young people in politics. That's the way to go. Young people should begin to toe the line of taking over certain strategic positions of authority and leadership, because again, we understand current challenges and trends and know how to bring a kind of balance between policies and enactment and implementation. So in terms of young people getting involved in politics, I would encourage the system, the lawmakers to make it even more even more of a priority. Young people need to get involved in politics. I mean, again, in my own corner, working in the social development space and leadership space, we do all of these efforts. In 2018, for example, I held a conference in Unilag where we had several presidential candidates come to discuss. We called it the Nigerian Dream. Collective building for today and tomorrow. So because we want to have our own Nigerian dream, is all we hear is the American dream, the American dream. What about the Nigerian dream? The Nigerian dream is something that we want. We love this country, Uncle Yori. We love Nigeria. I love Nigeria. So we want to see this country do well. And I know that we are on that trajectory, like I said, but we have to continue doing it. Okay. We have to continue developing this country, developing young people in politics.
Let me bring on Ibrahim. Good morning, Ibrahim, and thank you very much for holding on in Minna. Go ahead now. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. Ibrahim in Minna. Go ahead now.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Uncle Yori, and the
guest.
The youth ambassador there at the Dr. Joshua.
Dr. Joshua Oyeniyi, yeah. Thank you. Yes, we heard that.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, it's quite interesting that we have to discuss the issue of youth in particular. And when you look at the demography, you discover that almost 120, that is over 50%, are within the age we can call youth, going by UN, NYSC, and what have you. And we are, most of the time, like your guest is talking, education and the importance of education. At each level in our life,
when the colonial masters came, the kind of education they gave us was to enable us write clerical officer and all these things. And our education has not gone beyond that for how many years? So we don't have a defined education that moves with time. Moving with time is that, for instance, let me give because of time, let me quickly touch some basic area. Like now, we have digital technology is becoming a very good market. And we have talented youth. Some of them are even being arrested by EFCC for Yahoo and all these things. I believe that these people can be harnessed. Instead of when you want to rehabilitate them, you harness them and use that technology. They don't need to go to university. Most of the top people there we are talking about, they didn't graduate from university. In the north, we had very huge population of youth. We have land. Let education be directed towards that direction, so that you create a very large farm that you educate them on how to engage in modern farming. It doesn't mean until you go to, graduate from university. Then you have university graduates that are coming out each time they ask them to write projects. Some of them are coming with beautiful projects. As soon as they leave that school, the project ends there. There must be an institution that harness this technology, that harness their young ideas, that harness their projects, and see how it can be defined. I can go on and go on. You have NYSC. You have NYSC that every year we are putting money. They should be divided. NYSC should be redefined, refocused in such a way that they can be more productive than they are by separating them. And we should look at each region and look at the comparative advantage of where we can put youth to use. Mm-hmm. It is not education. Look at JAM. JAM, because the education we are still talking about, go and write JAM, get degree. That's why so many people are looking for white-collar jobs. So your education should be redefined so that we are not concentrating on looking for employment here and there. And again, let's come, those who are empowered, like Abbas, Rep. Abbas said, those who are empowered, they should concentrate there. Giving somebody motorcycle, it's not an empowerment. The empowerment should be for the brain to develop. And when brain develop, the mind to develop. And our youth should be given direction by the authors. You can see that many youth are trying to get money now or go into politics because they know when you are in politics is a big market that you can get money so quickly. And that's why the value system should be defined so that we can go further than where we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim in Minna, for calling in.
That's it.
So it really connects because we were talking about politics, and he has just said that, well, you find a lot of youth in politics, but I'm sure it's not going to be all of them, but a lot of youth in politics because,
the flashiness, the love, the pomp and pageantry around it.
All of that.
Again, which we learned from our elders, but those are the things that we need to disabuse the system of. Let people understand that politics and leadership is about service. It's not about what you want to, aggrandize for yourself. So those are the kind of orientation and value system, like he has said, that we need to inculcate into a young category, a young class of people that are venturing into politics. It should not be as a career. It should be as a service to the people. So we have a lot of work to do. We could spend the whole day talking about all of the bads and the wrongs. But again, I would say that the stakeholders, we should come together. This is our country. We don't have any other country. I don't have any other country that I can call home. We want this country to be the best that it can be, become a global superpower, like China is becoming, like India is becoming, like Brazil is becoming, and we want to stand tall among nations. When we go out and we use that green passport, the people should be proud. We should be proud of ourselves, So those are the kind of narratives and, discussion and discourses that I want young people and then, people like you, Uncle Yori, who runs this platform to propagate from time to time.
Sustainable development goals. That's also a very important part of
the
theme of this year's youth development goals. Talk briefly about that.
So we have, several, areas of the SDG goals: reduction of hunger,
Yes.
Right to good living, and maybe good water system and all the rest. We have so many of the things. If we look at the spectrum of problems we have in Nigeria, many of them cut across all of the several SDG goals, but we can only begin to make efforts on each of those fronts to ensure that the system becomes compliant with meeting those goals. We have education as well, like we mentioned. We have, like the gentleman mentioned as well, we can create a lot of innovation hubs. We have artificial intelligence becoming the order of the day. We can have those systems put in place from different parts of the country where young people are able to get creative, where they're able to venture into and build crafts, build businesses around those things, and compete competitively with the rest of the world. So the SDG goals, for someone like me, for example, is helping to also create a change in the narrative of value system to say, okay, if you are in leadership or if you're in politics or if you are in government, how do we make sure that the interest of the people is what we bear at heart and not, personal wealth creation and, an enterprise building for our own selves. So those are the kind of things that I want to advocate. And my coming here this morning is to also encourage the current administration and to also, they're doing very well. I must say, without partiality, this government, this current administration has given us more hope than it used to be. We see a lot of some glimmer of hopes coming in here. I listened to Senator Ojus Okalu yesterday saying that there's no country without its own challenges, and the current policies may be harsh. Honestly, we have a gentleman saying these are very hard for most young people.
Yeah.
We know it.
I saw that
we
too.
see it.
I saw that statement too.
People on the streets, young people cannot afford some of the basic necessities of life. But the truth of the matter is that the system has been through a lot, and it will take some time to bring it back on course. And then when things become stabilized, we will see dramatic changes, positive changes that will be in the best interest of every one of us.
And that senator, was making the point that the president was aware of, the tightness, the toughness.
Uncle Yori, let me say something. A few years ago, I had an opportunity to be on, another formal station, and I mentioned something about emotional intelligence about the sitting president of the time. I must say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has that going for him in terms of being able to relate to the pains of the people and coming out from time to time to talk about, I feel your pain.
Exactly.
I understand what you are going through.
It's
really important.
It's very
important. We
important.
might think people are reacting and say, oh, yeah, we're going through a lot, but those words, those soothing words are helping to calm nerves, are helping to help people believe more in the system and patiently work together to see that things get better. We want you to get it, and we know it's going to be rough, but those words are very soothing and encouraging.
They are, and also it's like an example also for the youth. That the fact that a thing is difficult does not mean you continually run away from it.
Yes.
So even though it's difficult, the president himself will attest and say, I feel your pains and all of that. Beyond just talking, it's like it's a task that needs to be done. Otherwise, things will go worse. And everybody, well, I don't know, one has to be careful how one says that. But in the past, people were just thinking about today.
But now, let's get it now. Let's be happy now.
But Bola Ahmed Tinubu is saying that beyond the expiration of my 10 years, whatever Nigerian people give me, beyond that, I still want the goodness to continue. And so that's why we're doing what we must be doing. There's a sense in which yesterday we had a gentleman talking about leadership, the leadership function and forum. And one of the ways you identify a leader is by the fact that they are able to inspire people, to come up, even if they are a bit tough, but you get people to follow them. So that's what you are at now. That's the level where you are persuading Oju, I think that was the senator.
Senator Ojus Okalu, yes.
He was the guy who was saying what he was saying yesterday. So it's all about, just bringing people up for them to understand the nature of the problem. You know what? I want to thank you very much, Joshua.
Thank you,
Dr. Joshua Oyeni. We've run out of time, but you're such an exciting guest to have.
Thank you so
because
much,
your passion shows through.
Thank you,
and
sir.
I dare say that it would have been infectious on some of the youth out there. If they were to Google it, the Ambassador Forum, is it?
Yes, the Ambassador Summit.
The Ambassador Summit is on the internet.
Yes.
So if people were to go on there and just enter in the Ambassador Summit,
yes.
they'd find details of how to reach out and get in touch.
We have a conference, free to attend, coming up at Oriental Hotel on the 4th of September. We are going to have the First Lady there, the Minister of Youth there. I want them to come and engage with the young people.
Don't say more than that,
yes,
otherwise they'll charge me for...
I feel you.
Thank you very, very much. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. So, indeed, that's where we'll leave it. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.